There's a very old spiritual practice, at least thousands of years old. We know from scholars it was practiced in Vedic times from at least 1500 BC. This we know of from writings that are still tangible. And its practice, like many spiritual practices, is probably much, much older than this. And this practice is sometimes called the river pilgrimage, or sometimes it's called river tracing. In Japan, it's called sawanori. Sawanori. Thank you. That's, I think, the more accurate pronunciation from my son-in-law, who is Japanese. Sawanori. And so this practice consists of following a river wherever one finds from oneself on this river or near this river. And the practice is following it upstream back to its starting point, its origin, its beginning. Welcome to Pathworking the Tree of Life with the Alchemical Cabala. Now, in Kabbalah, there are no accidents. None. So you are here right now. Whether this is live for you, which is clearly live for you, or you're watching what you think is a recording. This is by no accident. And this week we enter the path of Gimel, the path of the High Priestess on the Western tree. Does everyone see the tree? Perfect. Now, the first thing that I would like you to really note is that the path of the High Priestess is the highest middle path on the tree of life and the middle pillar. Okay. Interesting. So what do you make of that? Anything? Anything anyone want to share?
Well, for some reason I'm seeing like the cross in the center of the cross. So,
Okay, great. Okay.
She's the female aspect of God.
Hmm.
Stud, and I forget the specific name of practice, but it's just looking at it where it just kind of it's like a reflection in a certain way, just like point of view kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's just like, you know, all the stuff we know about the card, you know, the tree life behind her and the pillars and the everything. It's like this the one and just the flowing. Yeah. I won't rant on that right now, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So this is the only path that connects the heart of the tree directly to the high self.
It's the express lane to the self from the heart straight up. And on the high priestess itself, it's showing us the keys to it, the balance, the water and the fire and the water. The 7 pomegrams are like the fruits of this, and the mind flowing from the understanding of the wisdom in the Torah.
Mhm.
But it's definitely the, like you said, the center path, the
Yes.
quickest way.
Right. Excellent.
She's in the center, and the center is the truth, because the truth is seen surrounded by the opposites. I mean, the opposites on the two sides, and in the center you can see the truth.
Mm. Okay. Excellent.
I'm seeing Tifereth as individual consciousness
Okay.
and Kether as universal consciousness.
Lovely.
And
Thank you,
the high
Michael.
priestess, the high priestess is defining how to harmonize the two.
Mm.
And what I see, if I focus on my crown and on my heart and connect those two
Mhm.
without going through my mind,
Yep.
that's the path of the high priestess, because she's subconscious.
Yes.
And so just by focusing on the crown, on my crown and my heart,
Mhm.
and allowing those two to harmonize, or the lower to become like the higher, to become the, the vibratory match for universal consciousness,
Yes.
then it's transformative, but it happens behind the scenes. It happens below the threshold of the conscious mind. So
Very
I don't
nice.
have to do anything about it. All I have to do is harmonize,
Yes.
not
And
through
how
thought. Yeah.
how would you do that? How would you recommend doing that, Michael?
Well, I like excuse me. I like to talk about how in spiritual work we want to go from one place to another, like from point A to point B.
Okay.
But in spirit, the only way that point A can go to point B, or you can move from point A to point B, is by A becoming B. And that's accomplished by achieving harmony.
Yes.
A harmonizing itself, in other words, attuning its vibratory nature to its destination. And by doing that, that's how we actually travel. And so the card is Gimel, which is camel, which is travel.
Yes.
It's a vehicle. It's, and And so it's like the way, this whole thing is describing the way, how to
Yes.
harmonize with God, individual consciousness and universal consciousness is through the process of harmonization, which is
Yes.
raising your vibration,
Uh-huh.
but doing
Thank
it not with the mind. That's the whole
Yes.
thing. You can't
Exactly.
do it with the mind. It's just,
Yes.
it's the experience of it. It's the
Yes.
vibration itself. Yep.
Did everyone catch what Michael said, kind of subtly, and he said a lot, but where he said that the letter Gimel, or Gimel, is the camel. That's what it means in Hebrew. And camel is it's the main mode of transportation in the desert, where water is the essence and source of living or dying, of being able to successfully transverse great distances. Not a small thing. The Whom Tarot does a beautiful job of, at the right lower corner, associating the meanings for our Western mind here, right? It has the letter G, which the letter Gimel has two pronunciations. It's a soft G, a ja, and a hard G of ga. Either one's fine. Experiment with the two. We see the letter moon, or the symbol moon, and we see the animal, the camel, which we know is a container of life water. Is that clear to everyone? All right. Michael, thank you. If there's anything you want to add, please feel free to do so. One thing I want to bring to your attention, and I want you to take this and file it within you in a memory that you will never forget. So pay attention. On this beautiful key of the High Priestess, you see this little yellow spot right here? You see it here? At the right hand of the High Priestess, right? And by right hand, I mean you're orienting yourself in the direction of the High Priestess. Facing her, of course, it would be your left, but if you are placing yourself in her orientation, it's to her right. It's on the path and the pillar of severity. Here's the thing I want you to take to heart, and I want you to aspire to. And when I say aspire, I want you to make it an aspiration to which you will not refuse anything less but success for yourself. Okay? This is an inner version, an inner jersey, an inner journey. Thank you. So the point is, in simplicity, I want you, in your path working, I want you to come and kneel and sit in this space. at the foot and the knee of the high priestess. Okay. Let's get out of here. Coming back. All right. Up back to the tree and the high priestess. First thing I want you to note is the path of the high priestess is the highest middle path on the tree of life and the middle pillar. The middle pillar is our goal on the tree. We explore all the paths. Yes, Starlet.
Nothing, I was just waving good night to Michael.
Do what?
Good night. I gotta go.
Okay, good night, Michael. Thank you.
Good night.
Please
you.
watch the video, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in below. Okay. So, the high priestess is the only path, the only one that connects the heart of the tree directly to the divine self, the crown. Of the 22 major arcana keys. So I'm going to repeat this. Okay, I'm going to repeat it. The high priestess is the only path on the tree of life that connects the heart of the tree to the divine self. That should make the deepest impression upon you as to its importance. All right. She is the source and beginning of all the waters in the Terra. The Terra being the royal path. And particularly, she is the source and living intelligent substance. This isn't a blind force. This is living intelligence. And she is the substance of the river of life, the prima materia of the alchemist, the first matter. Now, take some deep, relaxed breath. This won't take long, but go deep. And when I say go deep, I mean go deeper than you would. Go deep and trust. Close your eyes, take some deep breaths, and imagine now a white rose star shining brightly, brilliantly above a silver crescent moon in your inner vision. If you have difficulty imagining this, simply know this imagery within you and before you. A pure white rose shining as a star above a crescent moon. Take a deep breath. Allow it to come to a deeper place than you even knew was possible. Just let it be. And see it as well as you can. Here it is. Imagine this image alone blesses you now. Take a deep breath. Understand that the substance within which you are projecting now this imagery, the substance, this is the High Priestess, the first matter, the prima materia. She is the living, eternal virgin within you always. And she is wisdom herself, closer than breath, closer than death. She is also the foundation of the cube of space and the waters of the sphere of the moon, which on the tree of life is called Yesod, and it means foundation. The High Priestess is the foundation of the cube of space and the foundation of the tree of life. In the sequence, the keys of the royal path, she's the first image in the major arcana to sit on the cube as her throne. One of her primary functions of consciousness is memory. And it's said in the Western tradition that she, the divine feminine, never forgets anything, ever, not for one moment. As such, she knows everything about you, about all you have ever been, and all that you are now. When you remember anything, you do so with her power. Can you recall the first image shown on the screen of this class from just moments ago? This is your use of the power of the High Priestess. You can develop a relationship with her. It's highly recommended that you do so, as she will direct your paths and wisdom. She's known you before this incarnation. And she knows you as your divine self that has been created by the All. She's wisdom incarnate and wisdom as yet incarnate. These are not nice ideas or wishful aspirations or thinking. This is what is so. She is living wisdom herself. No matter what name is assigned to her, from any time or culture or tradition, it is she who is venerated and known as wisdom. Some know her as Athena, some know her as Minerva, some know her as Sophia. Some know her as Mary. In the Alchemical Cabala, your core practice with a sincere and pure heart and persistence will bring you to sit at her feet as you reach the source of the great waters of life after you have followed the river of consciousness back to its source. Use the core practice to bring you here. When you meet her, you will be astonished. Seek her with a pure heart. Seek her with a pure heart. With that, please unmute yourselves one at a time and share what occurs to you for our path for this week, the path of Gimel, the path of the High Priestess. Unmute yourselves one at a time. Simply share what you see.
The crown is made of silver, the metal of the moon, and it's the waxing and waning and the full moon. And the crescent moons on each side are reminiscent of the bull's horns, because in this card, the moon is exalted in Taurus.
Hmm.
And she deals with the subconscious, and her right hand is hidden because we can't know everything that's going on in the subconscious in her right hand. Represents the subconscious.
Great.
I'll just share real quick, and this may speak from the meditation as well, but like just I don't know, it just seems like a very direct card where at least what comes up is the whole thing of it's feeling into, and it comes up as like feeling into the vibration, feeling into just it's funny because it almost starts going, it's like beyond words, where it's that just feeling that presence, feeling that space. And then just as I share that, just looking at the card and just how like serene and just very, some of that word used, like unconflicted, like just pure like peace. But I'll yeah, I'll stop there at that point.
Excellent. Thank you.
Knowing comes up for me. I think we all seek to be known or remembered. There seems to be a feeling of home and to be known, I think.
To be remembered, right? She's the key of memory. To be remembered.
Just noticing something was shared, just how it's very like flowing and directional, just like from the, so if it's kind of it's funny, so starting from, and again thinking about the memory of it, and then also just I look at just like this like the pure like heart connection. So with because looking at the pomegranates and the little looks like the center of the stem of the leaves as they're going direction, it's like kind of starting from her heart, going up and looking at the symbol, and the two crescent moons as they're going in those directions, kind of like flowing forth. And whether you follow one or the other, just seeing both of them as they fall down, flowing down the sides of her, and which coincides with the blue of her drape, which then turns into the shawl on her, which then flows in the water itself. And so it's just a very active flowing kind of card is the way it's just hitting me at this point. And I'll stop there. But
Thank you. Easy. So I just want to reiterate, it's possible to commune and communicate with this being within.
And it's important to remember that her dress is the flowing water, and she's the waters of consciousness, and she's the source of all the water and all the rest of the keys flowing through. So that's kind of interesting symbolism.
Absolutely. Thank you, Richard. Yes, absolutely. And flowing from the law, right? From the scroll.
one thing that was curious on with regards to, through mentioning earlier about the place, the basically we're placing ourselves at with the meditation, that yellow patch area below, is that Samek? that pillar, that with the Semic symbol on there.
Interesting.
Hey,
Light pillar. So yeah, so it's the fact that on the Empress key, one thing that was being noted and was very distinct was the amount of yellow that was there, and like in the sky, and also just how she's looking upwards and directly, and just kind of, I'm just thinking about that area, and then this card kind of like above, or just kind of a different way of again, I'm kind of going a little out there with it, but
Yep.
was
Yep.
just kind of thinking about that, which then goes to the full key afterwards. But anyways,
Yes, thank you, Easy. Can someone speak to what you see in the tree of life behind her? And where are the Sephiroth that are not obviously shown on the entire tree? Can anyone speak to that?
Are they where her spine is, up her spine and behind her?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So let's explore that. What do you see there?
We see severity, mercy,
Severity's here.
divine self. Well, yeah.
Mercy's here. Where would Tiferet be?
Heart.
Her heart. What is that symbol?
Right here.
Yeah, what is that?
So what do you think?
Not
What shape is it? What shape is it?
circle.
Is it a circle?
Like the
Oh,
apple.
oval. Sorry.
Is it an oval? Okay. So did you get the email? Go ahead, Easy.
just that the Vesca Pisces thing with the two,
Thank
the
you.
one, and then the two, and then the
Yep.
overlapping circle for the Tattva. Yeah.
Perfect.
Hmm.
So does everyone on board did everyone get the video of the Vesica Pisces sent out a few days ago? That was only to the group.
No, I'll have to look at that.
That movie clip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who watched the
Beautiful
movie clip? 2? Anyone else? 3? Okay. And anyone else that may not be showing in our immediate. So, what'd you make of that?
Well, it's like you said, the imaginal connection that we have, which is shown mapped behind through the river, like you were saying earlier there.
Yeah.
Through
And isn't it curious? It's at her heart. It's curious, right? It's curious that we see 2 Vesica Pisces in a vertical and horizontal cross at her heart, which we know is behind it is Tiferet on the traditional tree. We know that the function of Tiferet on the tree is vision of beauty, a higher order of vision. It's interesting almost that she makes a cube here between the 2 Vesica Pisces of spirit. Isn't that curious?
Awesome.
Does anyone know of the sphere of Da'at? The invisible sphere. Yeah, perfect. Richard, would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, well, I think in a lot of ways they call it the abyss of knowledge, and in a way, knowledge and information is a great abyss. I mean, we can see how the internet is so much information; it's almost an abyss, right? So the
Yeah.
invisible sphere is we almost have to cross the abyss of knowledge, which is information in a way,
Right.
rather than wisdom, which is truth or the meat of life or whatever.
Yes.
So yeah, I just like an abyss of information in my thinking.
Thank you. So it's curious, right? It's curious to me where on the tree would you place Da'at? Would you place it at her face? Would you place it at the crown of the full moon above her head?
Wouldn't it
Or
be at
would
her,
you go ahead, Victoria?
would it be at her throat?
Interesting. Interesting.
Should be located center of those 6. Like if you should be exactly center between the heart and the upper pomegranate, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So it's almost as if it's right in here. It's almost like a portion of the face and the crown of the moon. And we see the third eye here.
Right, the diamond there.
Thank you.
Yep.
The
That's the
sixth
vesicle.
sephira, the sixth chakra, I should say,
Mhm.
which is the inner vision of the mind, which Da'at is a combination between wisdom and understanding. It's the invisible sphere, that which is invisible within. And that on the tree, that the high priestess transcends directly. Meaning, when we transverse this path through her grace and wisdom, we will come through the abyss of Da'at to reach the crown of Keter. This is not intellect. Intellect's way down here on the tree. Hold.
So it's opening of the pineal gland, right?
That's one way of looking at it, yes.
Which leads to
Which leads to
the opening of divine
a higher
self.
vision, right? And yet, the divine self is higher.
Mm.
It's really cool.
I'm also looking at her and seeing that she's in a white robe and there's lots of it. So purity, the divine, that's leading to the divine self, the God self, the holiness, the
Yes.
revelation, all of those.
Yes. She is wearing the divine white of the divine self. She's wearing a garment of blue of mercy and memory. Right?
Which is the color for Mary and Christianity.
Okay. Definitely one aspect, yes.
Yeah. I also see the lotuses above
Mm,
at the top of the pillars, and that's the waiting to be opened, and the layers that need to fall away to the prize within.
fascinating. Yes. Beautiful. Okay.
Oh,
So go ahead, Easy.
I was just going to point out real quick, with regards to kind of that a bit of a journey on her, the cross, the just the specifics of the cross, since we're talking about the cube right there. When going into it, it's interesting with the shape of it. So it's kind of just playing with the shape of the ovals, and basically how the if you're to take that, if you look at it as to kind of like a cutout, like there's that flat surface there, and then you cut it out, and so now you basically move it 90 degrees up. Um, it just kind of it just struck me as like almost like the yes, the Vescopaisi, but just kind of that directionality again of going upward, and it was really fascinating, and especially as it was traveling up towards again, just journeying through the heart to then get to the to be at the divine space, the pineal gland, the third eye that we were talking about. But just that little play with the cross was just struck me a little bit. So that's what I just wanted to share.
Is that a yod in the hand on the white pillar? Is that a yod, or what is that in the hand?
Yeah, that's
You're
you.
muted.
Oh,
No, not you, Elon.
It is absolutely a yod. Yeah, here it is right here, right?
yeah.
And let's see if I can
Been wondering
send,
about that too.
let's see. Do you see the high priestess here? Let me see if I can
Yeah,
enlarge it. Yeah. So this is the yod, right? Which means, which in Hebrew means extended hand, right? Now, so Rachel, I want you to look at the shape of the yod. Can you see it clearly here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want you to imagine that hand is placing it in the shape of Beth, the house over here on this pillar. And is it curious to you how well it fits? Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you? Do you see
Inside.
this? Do you see this yod? See this
Yeah.
yod
Yeah.
of the sphere of mercy? Now, imagine turning it a little sideways
Mm-hmm.
and positioning it here in this space. Does it fit? It's not a right or wrong answer. I'm asking you your perception.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, it looks like it would. Yeah.
Curious. Curious, right? Richard, can you tell us the names of the pillars here in the tradition?
Yes, yes. The white one is called Yakin or Jakin. We pronounce
Uh-huh.
it in Freemasonry, but Yakin.
Thank
And
you.
that means strength, I believe, or
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
established. And Boaz is the black
Mhm.
one. And I forget which is which. One means strength and the other means establishment in Hebrew. But yeah,
Perfect.
they generally have a B or a J on the pillars as well.
Thank you. And one of the letters of Yod is Y, and the letter of Beth is B. So Boaz and Joachim or Joachim, right?
And
Mhm.
J and Y are interchangeable as
And
well.
J and Y are interchangeable. Thank you. So that's curious. So one thing I want to impress upon everyone as you know, I'm just reiterating it for anyone who may be watching this at a future present date, is everything that you see in this imagery. One, there is nothing by chance. And two, on a certain level of your being, you understand the deeper, deeper, deeper levels of what's being communicated here. That can't particularly be articulated with the limitations of words.
So there's strength and mercy. Is that it?
You said that. I love it. There is strength and mercy. Look at the strength key.
Mhm.
Combines mercy and severity.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
true.
Now, moving forwards, because we could spend so much time here,
Really?
right? So let's move forwards.
Oh, I just have to say the mother is truly the most merciful in all of creation.
Okay,
Sorry.
right?
Yeah.
And with as much mercy, there is
Severity.
immense severity. But the severity is always rooted in mercy. So on the tree of life, mercy precedes the sphere of severity, as the blue sphere precedes the red sphere. Their balance is a mystery and an art. Okay. Thank you all for sharing your wisdom and insights. As you practice the core practice this week, ask the high priestess to bring you to sit at her side. I want you to ask this for yourself. I want you to, from your heart of hearts, not for me, not for any other person on the planet, for you. I want you to ask, request the high priestess to bring you to sit at her side and bless you with real wisdom, not knowledge, wisdom. Now, you may alternate, as you know, if you follow these classes. We end our core practice with our meditation on the letter of the card, right? We focus on visualizing or thinking about the card of the high priestess. We hold it in our inner knowing or memory or visualization as we go to sleep. And we end our practice with the visualization of the Hebrew letter, which in this key is Gimel. Which means camel. Okay? Every other night, you are free to, should you choose, I recommend you do, use this imagery to end your core practice. Everyone clear on this imagery? And did you receive it in your email? Please print it off, keep it in your journals. This is a powerful, powerful imagery that shows the tattva of spirit, the Vesica Pisces, within the two circles, the number 2. And we see the sun, the self, the sun behind the sun. Above the letter Gimel, which we know on the tree, she connects to the heart. This is for you. Receive it to the degree that you are able. Open your heart to it. Now, here's something for your wondering. Okay? This is for your subconscious, as is all of this. But this is for your wondering. Anyone ever seen this image of the Mississippi River? We're not all here in the what we call the current United States, the Northern Hemisphere, the northern continent of North America. This is a pretty considerable portion of it, right? This is a map of the mighty Mississippi and its subsidiaries, which brings the waters of life to 33 states of this great continent. Just for your consideration. Kind of reflect on this. See all the states. Recognize how large they are. We know that this river kind of dissects the very center of this landmass. Is anyone familiar with where this great river begins? It's okay if you don't. Most people don't.
Were you showing a map on the screen? I didn't see it if you were showing.
Oh, did you not see the map? Okay,
did
I'll
not.
show you the map.
I do
Here
see
you
the
go.
map.
Here is, hold up. Here
Yeah.
is the map. Let's see if it shows. Does it show?
Showing, yeah. I mean, are you talking about St. Louis, Memphis, New Orleans, the whole
Yep.
map of Mississippi? Yeah, it's on the screen.
You
Huh.
see it?
I don't for some reason.
Yeah, your connection, man. I don't know, because it kind of goes red sometimes. So
Yeah,
might
yeah.
be-
It's bad. I live out in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
not good.
So yeah,
No
that
worries, Richard.
additional data.
I'll try
Yeah.
to send you a copy of this in your emails.
Oh, sure, no worry. I thought I'd mention it in case everyone was missing it. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Is there anyone else that's not seeing the imagery of the Mississippi?
Is it coming from the Great Lakes? Or the Mississippi doesn't
Interesting.
go up, does it?
Interesting. That's an interesting question.
It's like northern Canada, though.
It travels up.
That's an
Well, the-
interesting question. Is it coming from the Great Lakes? I mean, that seems reasonable, right?
So there they are. There's
That
a
seems
lot of
reasonable. Let's try this.
which Great Lake?
Is like northern Canada though, or something? Because it goes up beyond. Or...
Sort of.
Okay.
Does everyone see this now? Do you see the imagery of the Mississippi River and its subsidiaries?
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is really, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it's hard to fathom
It
the
really is.
life, it's hard to fathom the creatures, great and small, that are nourished by this great, great body of water. Okay. Now,
Hmm.
now here's an interesting thing that might surprise you. Here is the beginning. Remember at the beginning of this video, we spoke about the ancient practice of following the river wherever one finds oneself and the body of waters back to its origin or source. It's an ancient spiritual practice. It's not just about walking up riverbanks, right? That's just one form of it. It's a physical practice, although in the West, so much of our practice is mental practice because it's inner practice, right?
So where
This,
again?
yeah, go ahead.
Where does it begin?
Well, here it is. I hope you can see it.
Here of the ocean, the mighty Mississippi begins.
Do you
To
see it?
Mexico. Right there.
That's it.
Here. It's that's really cool. You know what? I'm actually reading The Scene, The River That Made Paris, and the whole thing is about where it begins.
Huh?
It's
You see
cool.
these interesting rocks?
Yeah.
This is Lake, I hope I'm not mispronouncing it, but Itasca or Itasca. It's in Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay.
This is the beginning,
It's
the
amazing.
recognized beginning, not counting all the subsidiaries, but this is more or less the very beginning. Now, I want you to imagine that you're sitting or standing or kneeling right here by this tree,
Hmm.
by this dark pillar here, and sitting, admiring, being present to the beginning of the mighty Mississippi. Got it?
Hmm.
Got it? So the Mississippi River begins as a trickle flowing out of Lake Itasca in northern Minnesota. From there, the river flows approximately 2,400 miles until it pours into the Gulf of Mexico below New Orleans. The Mississippi River drains, curiously, 33 states. Now, this is fascinating. Its watershed covers 1/2 of the nation of the United States. And what you see in this image is it's still showing the image of the beginning with the rocks and the lake. Is that still on your vision?
Yes.
So this is a picture of the humble beginnings and tricklings of the Mississippi River from its origin. Now, as you practice, your core practice with the high priestess this week, seek her with a pure and humble heart. This is far beyond the physical imaginings. That we've presented. Understand the high priestess is wisdom itself. Please seek to develop a personal relationship with her. Know that this is possible. And don't settle for less. Do not settle for less than a personal relationship with she that is wisdom, through which the high priestess is a doorway. May the joy and light of wisdom bless us all. This concludes our outer class on the path of Gimel, the high priestess with the Alchemical Cabala. Thank you all for your light, wisdom, and participation. The floor is now open for any questions or comments.